Good afternoon and welcome. Well, I don't know if you've been outside yet today, but earlier in the day I was out and it started out today just beautifully. The air was clean this morning following a brief shower a little bit earlier. There was just a hint of crispness in the air, and the world was going about normal business for this Thursday. Yes, we have issues out there in the world today. We continue to see grown men and women act like 4-year-olds in Washington, D.C., as well as in Topeka. We continue to have death and destruction in places like Gaza, Minnesota, and Kansas. Hurricanes, earthquakes, and other natural occurrences plague parts of the world. Yes, we do have our share of issues, both natural and man-made. But God has also provided us with a glimpse of what the creation could be, and I believe will one day be through the present glory of nature, as well as the goodness of mankind that is often on display right now. Yes, there is the presence of God in nature, and there are countless acts of goodness and service, some of which we are privileged to know about, see for ourselves, or even be a part of. As you may know, Jane Goodall, the woman who conducted more than 6 decades of field research on the social and family life of wild chimpanzees, and became quite famous doing so, by the way, died recently. Circulating on social media is a quote that's attributed to her. This is what she is purported to have said at one time. Quote, "You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make." Unquote. Well, as I see it, there aren't many choices when it comes to the kind of difference you may want to make in your daily life and living routine. It seems to me that we can make either a positive difference or a negative difference. And that's about the extent of the choices. You know, it's the very rare person who, in the course of his or her day, makes no difference at all. In fact, I think I'm going to step out on a limb here and say that making no difference is not possible regardless of who you are, what you do, or what your situation is on any given day. So, if I want to make a positive difference today, how might I best do that? Well, as a Jesus disciple, my answer would be to emulate the life of the man from Galilee. Love your neighbor as yourself. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another. Love the Lord God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And if you're a Jesus follower, you can surely think of other ways that he has either said or done in his life to make a positive difference in your daily living and your interactions with others. So, what would be the antithesis of that? The opposite of making a positive difference? Well, it would seem to me to be just the opposite of what I just said regarding how we make a positive difference. Love yourself. Care not for your neighbor. Treat others with disdain. Put them down and elevate yourself. Continue holding grudges. Get even. Worship the gods of the world, money, sex, and power. It seems kind of bold to me to put the negative difference makers in such plain English as that. I want to reel back and say, no, I don't do those things. I don't like that. But if I'm honest with myself, I have to admit that those things are lurking inside of me, and if given the chance, they'll rise up in some way that makes me the God. That makes me the one that I want to serve. And they can be subtle. So subtle, in fact, that we actually believe we may be doing something good and noble when in reality we're doing it only for ourselves and for our own gratification. Being truly kind, serving, forgiving, and loving is more difficult than one might think, and it requires a strength that's not found within ourselves. We have to go outside of ourselves to find that strength and that motivation. And for many of us, that is found in a relationship with that same Jesus that we mentioned a bit earlier. The one of whom it is said is indeed God in the flesh. the one we can know and can emulate as he himself lived among us and showed us what it means to love, to forgive, to serve, putting away our selfishness and our pride. Yes, Ms. Goodall, I think you're correct. We do have an impact on the world around each day, whether that world is in the office where we work, the home where we live, the hospital room where we're recovering, the nursing home room where we are spending our last days, the school where we learn, or the grocery store where we buy our necessities. And I'm going to leave you with this thought today. The question is, will that impact be positive or negative? Will we make the world, or at least our corner of it, a better place for our having been there? Or will we leave that corner in shambles at the expense of others and for our own benefit? Blessings.